Well, I thought the Eagles reaction show was going to be the craziest, happiest, most off the wall recap show we were going to have. And boy, was I wrong, because I think it's going to be this one, folks. Somehow, by the grace of some football god up on high, the Denver Broncos, maybe Demaryius Thomas himself, I might say, the Denver Broncos find a way to pull this game out of the fire when it's almost burned to sheer ashes, come back, take the lead, give the lead back away with the help of some officials that I'm not a big blame the officials guy, but man, the calls today were questionable. Anywho, give the game back away, and then Bo Nix to Marvin Mims, Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton, gets the Broncos down the field. This time, Will Lutz kicks the game-winning field goal as time expires. The Broncos advance to 5-2, and last I saw, the Chargers were losing to the Colts, so I think the Broncos might have. Let me check this really quick. And yes, the Broncos are in sole possession of first place in the AFC West right now, as will be always now joining me in these Sunday. But oh my God, I gotta it changed everything. Oh my God, I never changed the thumbnail and every. Oh God.
I had to change my Twitter. My Twitter
stream embarrassing
title.
Loss to the New York Giants.
Oh my God, I gotta change. This is gonna hurt the algorithm so bad. People, please understand why this happened. Please be patient with me. I forgot to make that change before we went live.
And now we're take it away while you change that title, Zach. Would that be helpful?
Should we go and come back?
No, that would be I think that would probably hurt the algorithm worse and everything. I'm gonna just put up a disclaimer because we're gonna get comments all show long. Oh no. I screwed that up. I'm sorry, guys.
Epic title.
Okay, sorry. We'll get the show back on the road. I need that disclaimer.
All right, guys. I see the comments. Yes, we know this was it was a mad dash to get on the air, and so what? 3 minutes before we go, we write that, and then okay, yeah.
No.
Let's just be happy.
Should we end the live? Should I end the live and restart it?
Zach, no, you just change the title on YouTube, man. It will go fine.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Okay, yeah. If you need us to give us our reaction while you're changing that, Zach.
No, I can't change it while it's live.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, really? I can't shoot.
But
perfect. We'll go. What a gorgeous segue. David, what is your big takeaway from this game? Where are you sitting with it? There's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Zach, I want to say you can change it in the YouTube studio, just so
I'm
get in there. So I got to say, I got to start out by apologizing to the Broncos team, because if you follow my channel, you saw that with about 3 minutes left, I dropped a video saying how embarrassed I was today to be a Broncos fan. And when I was recording my reaction, I never do this, but I was so disgusted after that tipped pass touchdown that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to record my instant reaction already. By the time I'm done, dude, the Broncos are about to take the lead. Mike, did you watch the whole thing? What did I miss? And I still can't believe we went down 88 yards. Someone's bringing this up. I think BK for the last drive to score a miraculous comeback in DT's honor. Nothing short of a miracle. How about that? But Mike, I got to know, man, what were your thoughts on this, man? I'm not apologizing to Broncos country. That was a positive jinx. That's what I'm going with.
That's what I go with too, David. I'm a terrible fan. I just am. I was game over. This game's over. You know, we got nothing going on. And next thing you know, I blink and we're getting 2-point conversions. And I'm like, we started doing a little math. And you're like, well, okay, so yeah, but they still need this. The Giants tried to give it away for a minute. And I tweeted out before Zach even said it. I'm not a blame the refs guy, but tonight, the refs, like we got down there and got it done. All of a sudden, the refs give them 1st and goal at the 2 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, we lost it again. I'm changing the title of my YouTube stream because I'm a terrible fan. And it's the jinx thing, right? You don't celebrate too early. You just like, this game's over. And that way you're not heartbroken later. I'm all those things that all you guys are. But I'll tell you what, in my house, when we were watching that game, David, when there was 30 seconds left, and I said, this game is going to, and what did we had it at the, where did we start on the last
Like
drive?
a 30-yard line.
Or the 20-something
20,
yard line, right?
25,
That's right, because it was a bidet. I said, oh my God, this game's going to come down to big nuts Lutz, because they're going to get it down there. Like I knew it then.
Yes.
Like I knew we were going to get there. And I'm like, it's going to come down to a field goal. You know our history on that. And I was nervous till the end. I was, even when I saw the crowd and saw it go through, I was waiting for a flag, David. I was literally waiting for the penalty flag.
Me too.
That was the whole game for me.
Oh,
I didn't enjoy 1 minute. I enjoyed the last 30 seconds of that game.
Sorry, David, you say what you're going to say, and then I'll transition.
I was just going to say, dude, I was sick on that last drive the Giants had, man. But it was very strange because, again, I had recorded a whole video on how disgusted I was with this team's performance, how the Giants just dicked us the whole game. And then we get the lead. We let it go through our hands. Like, we dropped multiple interceptions. But you're totally right, man. Like, there was something about that. Even though the Giants scored, I was really glad that they reversed that call for Dart's touchdown, because I'm like, we're going to have enough time to get down and kick a field goal. And the composure of Bo Nix, man, and those receivers, Mims, Sutton, to come up. I mean, they were dropping everything in the first half. For them to for the receivers to come up with huge catches like that, man, they were just, it was money. Also, screw Russell Wilson. You thought you were going to get your second victory in here as a backup quarterback. Suck these Will Lutz nuts, baby.
This is this is not a Twitter battle. This is played out on the field. All you guys that got into those big Twitter battles with the New York Giants, I hope you had fun. I don't get involved. This is exactly why I don't, because that game was this close.
I got to highlight this comment really quick from Roan77. This is nuts. 34 points. I think it's a typo. They mean 30.
Most in history. 33 points.
40 in any quarter, or in the fourth quarter specifically, Mike? For most
fourth quarter for the Broncos.
Okay, but still 33 points in any quarter is bonkers. They need to spread that offensive production out a bit. Let's let the other quarters have some love too. But nice step in the right direction. Again, this game was like 3 different games in one. I think at least 2 different games in one. And I think we have to acknowledge that. I'll open that up. I open things up with a bit of a thesis statement, because there's a lot going through my head. The discourse online with this game was all over the place, understandably so. And I think, like, this is why you don't fire a head coach because of one bad performance.
Or like, bench the quarterback and change the play caller.
Yeah.
Just pump the brakes on that for a minute.
It was 2 awful halves of football. And I think, like, Bo Nix is super deserving of criticism for how he's played these first 7 games. Sean Payton is super deserving of criticism for how this team's been coached the first 7 games. It has not been good enough. They're very lucky to be 5-2. And right now it doesn't look like they'll live up to the lofty expectations they set at the front of the season, right? Like, there's plenty to critique. It's not to say that this is all perfect and anyone who pointed out a flaw is wrong and stupid and crazy. Not at all. Let's critique when they do something wrong. Sean Payton's feet should be held to the fire. Bo Nix's feet should be held to the fire. The officials and, like, the players making dumb penalties, their feet should be held to the fire. But that doesn't mean you should fire Sean Payton. Like, I thought I was going to have to come on here and argue with the chat about why Sean Payton doesn't need to be fired. Because this is a win, I doubt there's going to be that much pushback on the concept. But, like, let's just live in the world where this was an ugly Broncos loss for a second. And the Broncos do fire Sean Payton after the game, because ugly game against the Jets, ugly game against the Giants. They're 4-3. Sean Payton gets fired. Imagine, just pretend you're not a Broncos fan. You've never lived in the state of Colorado. You are a hot name offensive coordinator for fill in the blank team who's going to get a head coaching job next year. And you see, after the Broncos experience their best season in a decade, break their playoff drought for the first time in a decade with $50 million in dead cap. And then the next year they get off to a 4-2 start. They have an ugly Week 7 game, and then they fire their head coach, who was paid more than just about any other head coach. If you are a random coordinator who wants to become a head coach, you're looking at the Broncos going, oh, like people were looking at the Panthers a few years ago. You're going, I don't want to take that job. I'm going to be fired immediately. Something goes wrong. That's a terrible precedent to set. So it's irrelevant now because the Broncos played so well, but like, people, let's just keep it all within perspective. This was a bad game from Sean Payton for 3 quarters. Like the way he was calling this game was just scared play calling, just like we saw in the second half of the Jets game, all through the first 3 quarters, and it put the Broncos in that hole. But my goodness, you do not throw the baby out with the bath. There's a baby in there. Guys, what do you think about my rant? I just had to get that off my chest, but I know I rambled for a second there. What do you think about my rant? Am I way off base here?
No, you're not.
Go,
Sorry,
Mike.
David. I'm going.
Sorry,
You can get on that soapbox. You can talk, because Dave and I vented for like 5 minutes straight while you were doing technical stuff. But it would be unfair, I think, to our listeners to not acknowledge all that. And let's break this show into two parts, shall we?
Yes, I think that's the right format.
The game and the amazing comeback.
Let's
start, because they are
with
two very different things.
Let's start with the comeback.
Yes.
What's that?
Continue your point. I just wanted to say, let's start with the comeback before we get too dour and everyone starts looking at the ropes around their building. Let's focus on the positives first. Right. But Mike, finish your thought. I'm sorry to interrupt.
All right, no, let's do that. I was going to say the opposite. Let's get it out of the way so that we can end it on a high note. We'll still end it on a high note. You guys don't worry about it, because we got a lot of high notes here. But all right, this was an amazing comeback. Bo Nix.
Sorry.
We said we're starting with a comeback. That's what you said.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
This is an amazing comeback, David. I know you and I are. I wish I had something to put on my head, because I was looking for a paper bag a little while ago. But I said earlier, is this Bo Nix's Elway moment? And it was. This was his Elway moment. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the EPAs are, or the STAs, or your STDs tell you. This was a Elway win like I haven't seen in a long time, and it was super exciting, and you can be jazzed about it. The marriage of Sean Payton and Bo, that's another conversation. Something's wrong there, but when he lets him loose, shit happens, David.
Really quick, David, I need to hit the super chat because it happened when I was
ranting.
Yeah. And T Fishes, I think we all in Broncos country probably had a moment of reverse jinxing today. I know David did with his upload. I certainly did with my title.
All game tweet.
Quick shout out I'll give to Joey's girlfriend, Elizabeth, who makes, she's got a baking side hustle. I won't out her in case she wants to keep that private, but she's got a baking side hustle. And we picked up some amazing cupcakes from her today. My girlfriend brought the cupcakes out around halftime for me, and I was just so angry I couldn't eat it. And then like fourth quarter starts, and I'm like, I need to eat this thing before it like gets stale. Shout on that cupcake. Broncos comeback starts. So I'm crediting it to that magic cupcake. T Fishes says the Broncos won because he played Call of Duty. When I stopped watching to play, Denver wins. Last time was against the Eagles. I don't care if it works. It works. T Fishes, we might need you to abstain from watching the Broncos the rest of the way here.
Yeah, I will throw you your own $5 super chats, T Fishes, if we can keep you on Call of Duty for every Broncos game. But
we need you on the Kyler Murray plan.
Yes, the Kyler Murray plan. But I think it is Bo Nix's Elway moment, man. It has to be. And again, like you were talking about, like I gave up on this team after we went down 25-8 or whatever. And But once he stepped on the field, 30 seconds left or so, we all knew. We all had that feeling, man. Yep. And man, I'm so proud of this team they crapped the bed, but for them to not give up and for them to, the whole thing's just mind blowing. You give up a back-breaking touchdown there at the end of the game, which, by the way, dude, these refs sucked. I'm not normally this guy to say it, dude, man. These refs were in it, man. They were in it to make sure the spread was covered, or maybe even the money line. I got to say it, man, because How many holding calls did they have on our elite pass rush, especially on that last drive? I mean, there were so many times Zach Allen's getting held, Cooper's getting held. That was a terrible roughing the passer call because he took one step and hit him, man. It was totally fine. We drop a bunch of interceptions and we come up big. We make the last play of the game, and Bo Nix to have a 17-point comeback on the road against Philly and to score 33 points in the fourth quarter. That's what I was laughing about a moment ago. That's just so absurd. That's video game type stuff. That's video game stuff. For him to do that, I think, man, we'll get into it, but
yeah,
I it's almost like we should start up tempo more often and just get this offense in a groove, you know?
I think it is, that helps, certainly. I think it is more like just the offense opening up some. Like, I think the offensive problems are so complicated and there's blood on everyone's hands. And I think, it's Sean Payton because he's not letting Nix run the whole offense is overly simplistic. I think it's on Nix for throwing inaccurate passes is overly simplistic, or not reading things out. I think Payton's the bigger culprit these last 2 weeks. It's so the offense has been so neutered and deprived of any devoid of any aggressiveness that it's been laughable. Now, I will say, like, on each of Bo's first 4 dropbacks that weren't screenplays, he missed a receiver high. He missed a receiver high. He threw a receiver long, and he had a pass tipped at the line of scrimmage. So all 4 of
like
those,
5 of those.
2 of those, of those first 4 that I'm referencing, 2 of those should have been caught. Like, blame is a lot on Brian and Sutton for dropping those.
Yeah.
But also, you're throwing a ball high into an oncoming defender. That's going to be incomplete more often than not. Bo holds a lot of blame for those incompletions too. It's like, it's complicated. Peyton has gone way overboard with his reaction, I think, to what Bo's put on tape. I'm all over the place here. I'll simplify it.
You are all over the place because we were supposed to start with a comeback.
I know, but I've changed my mind.
It was my fault.
Your orders.
David changed things. It just feels like we can't talk about how great everything was without acknowledging that it was bad. It was my mistake.
Absolutely.
There.
That's why I said we should start with this crap.
You were right. You were right, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad you admitted it.
Right.
And Colin is on my chat telling me I was right too. You want to?
Okay. He's muted. Okay. So Bo, totally lost my train of thought. Bo needs to do, that's Bo has put some really bad stuff on tape. I think over these first 7 weeks of the season, he's looked like a bottom 10 to 15 starter. I feel pretty comfortable saying that. But Sean Payton has responded to that by calling the offense as if Kendall Hinton is playing quarterback for the team. And like, that's way too far. And Payton deserves more blame. But man, for the first 3 quarters of this one, Bo Nix was also having a bad game. Like, it is very much both of these two. And we said it last week on the show. I think it remains the takeaway with this Broncos offense. Sean Payton has to open this sucker up and live with some of the ugliness that Bo Nix is going to put out there. And Bo Nix is going to put some ugliness out there. There'll be some overthrows, as Brandon Perna has dubbed them. There'll be some just blatantly missed reads. There'll be some over conservatism. There will be flaws. But you need to allow him to make those mistakes, because right now it's over sheltered. It's the bubble boy offense. And they're suffocating themselves. And Payton has more to do with that than Bo. Yeah. But I've seen too many people remove the Bo part of the equation, and Bo not playing good quarterback is a very important part of the equation to mention. That is kind of where I was at in the opening of the game. Like, that and the team in general looked deflated. I don't know if there's a greater problem. I think it could be as simple as we hyped ourselves up all week with the trash talk. Friggin' Demaryius Thomas, a Ring of Honor game that's very important to leaders on the team like Cortland Sutton. Super Bowl 50 alums in attendance, all that. Like, this is a big game, and we showed up so flat. And I think that's maybe why they looked a little deflated in the middle. Those were going to be my negative takeaways coming into this one. That and the penalties. The refs added on some nonsense penalties at the end that I still don't really understand. And like the PI that got the Giants out of their own end zone should have been a redo of downs because there was an offensive holding. But the penalties are also a problem the Broncos need to correct. Glad they can focus on correcting that problem off a win instead of a loss. Where were you guys at, though, emotionally, I guess, in the third quarter? What were you feeling about the Broncos and their 2025 outlook? David, let's start with you. And Mike, you are unmuted. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you'll mute yourself later. Don't worry.
I bleed orange and blue. I bleed orange and blue. So the highs are high and the lows are lows, y'all. I was nauseous. I freaking turned on the Batman while I had this game on. Like I was just so disgusted. I had to get my mind off of this whole thing. And again, it was just, I'll re-upload it this week or make it public, but I was just so embarrassed by the effort. And it just seemed like a total lack of urgency, particularly on offense, that, man, this team had. With everything on the line, with this meaning so much, honoring Super Bowl 50 and DT. And it was just, I was feeling a lot of embarrassment, man, because this is a team that we should beat. I'm not saying destroy. I'm saying that we should beat them, man. We're the better team. And yeah, like, I don't think Sean Payton called this offense for the first three quarters in a way that was indicative of like trying to win a football game. I think you're totally right, Zach. Notice when we spread things out and we have route concepts that go down the field, like we're able to complete those, right? I was just so sickened with the dink and dunk, and every time we get into the red zone, we're on the 5-yard line or whatever. Now all of a sudden we're going pass happy. Again, yeah, like the thing to Garrett Bowles, the screenplay to Sutton, like all that just looks so weak. When we got a great running game, man, and we should still trust it to some degree, even though the Giants were having their day. But again, a lot of back-breaking penalties, a lot of undisciplined football. RJ Harvey catching that kickoff right on the 6-yard line, going out of bounds. Like, Darren Rizzi's terrible special teams play was there for the first three quarters. So, man, I was sickened, and I was honestly like really, really embarrassed. I was disgusted because I'm like, this is not how you want to honor DT, man. And especially with having these two rookies come in here and, you know, exert their entire will over us, man. Like, you got a bunch of rookies that are coming in here making Mile High their house. That's how I felt about it. And I ended my video, and I'll end on this by saying, Broncos players, you should not be watching this, but if somehow you come across this video instead of watching game tape, you need to know that you suck today and that I'm embarrassed that you're honoring DT in this way. And it seemed like, I don't know, the flip just switched. The flip just switched to where all of a sudden, like, the urgency for the moment finally took off. But it is quite frustrating to see in the first halves of a lot of these games, we have no urgency, none whatsoever. And that has to be something that gets fixed. And I do think you're right, Zach. This can change with some more aggressive play calling.
And I want to highlight this comment from D Bronx really quick, because I do think it's a good one. You know, saying maybe they do need a loss. Like, I'm worried that, and I'm paraphrasing him here, but I'm worried that maybe if they keep winning, they're not going to learn their lesson for this awful play. And I think there's some merit to that. The Eagles game, they had to have a crazy 14-point comeback in that one. The Jets game, they played hideous football and could have lost that game very easily, despite playing a very bad football team. This game, really ugly, but they keep escaping and getting the win. And I think D Bronx might be right. They might need a sobering loss. That needs to come in a week where you're not chalking up the W, because you dropped the game against the Giants, and the math for the rest of the season does change a bit. And it's like, ooh, maybe all of a sudden, like that's one that can come back and really haunt you. That, man, how did we lose to the darn Giants? Now you're sitting here at 9-7 and need that week 18 win, So yes, I think they might need some water splashed on their face, some cold water splashed on their face. I hope it comes in a week where they're not just blowing what should be a very easy W like they were in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, where were you at?
Yeah, I got to push back a little bit before I do that on the sobering, loss. When the Broncos won the Super Bowl 32, the next year, I think we were 13-0 before we lost a game to the Giants. I think that's what that was. That's a sobering loss. That's a wake-up call. This team is more like the cardiac kids of old. Now there was I don't remember if that was the Browns. It was somebody that they were called the cardiac kids. Oh, maybe it was the Colts. Anyways,
I think it was the Browns.
Yeah. A team that needs a wake up call is one that's like heading cruising to the playoffs and they're getting full of themselves. I don't think this team's there. Here's what I think. I think Sean Payton, in his infinite wisdom, didn't take the bye week after the Europe trip. If you guys ever travel to Europe and then come back, much less go to Europe and then play a football game and then come back and go to practice, I mean, that is a draining trip. I thought physically they looked drained. Go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
No, that's just a great point that I do want to mention, because if they lose this game, I think we would very, very fairly would be saying, and I think even though they won it, we can make the critique. Sean, what were you doing? They give you the bye week after the London game for a reason. They offer you that. That's a built-in offer and has been for a few years now for a good reason. There's man, why did you pass that up? That said, because now that the gamble is paid off, should it have? Probably not, but it did. And because it did, now the Broncos still have a bye week in week 11, get them nice and healthy for that December, January playoff push. Next time they get scheduled an international game, don't do this same thing again. However, I will acknowledge the gambles worked out, and now you're looking at a Broncos schedule where a majority of their remaining games are at home. They still have the bye week left. Their remaining difficulty of schedule isn't that extreme. It's a little on the easier end of middle of the road. And I think you feel pretty good about the outlook here, as long as they can right the ship. Again, it's nice that we're talking about a team at 5-2 off 3 ugly wins, as opposed to 2-5 off 3 ugly losses.
Icing on the cake. Chargers losing, like you said, we're in first place, man.
First place of the AFC West. Broncos control their own destiny at this point. Nice.
Winning cures a lot of stuff, guys.
Now, I think we had the overarching Bo Nick, Sean Payton takes. Is there anything else you guys want to hit there before we get into the comeback of it all?
Oh,
yes, David.
Why did we not have Dre Greenlaw out there in some of those, single linebacker looks? Is it just because he's still easing his way back? Because I think that was still a big time liability. Man.
He's probably at like 80%. He's at 80%.
You queued me up, David, and I might forget to do it in our standout segment. So before I get to the positives of the comeback, I'm going to do it right now. Longtime listeners of Let's Talk Broncos know that for a while now, I've complained about Alex Singleton being
here we go.
A real problem on this Broncos defense. And this year it's been especially true. And this game really highlighted it. Justin Sternad is I don't know if he's even an average starter, but he's fine. There are flaws in his game. I'm not trying to say there aren't. He's probably a subpar starter, but it's okay. It's a problem, but it's not the end of the world. Singleton is like a giant pile of diarrhea in your plants. It is a serious problem. It is all hands on deck emergency. Something needs to be done about this right now. He's, from what I've seen, and I have not watched every NFL game, but seen just about every primetime game. Lots of Sunday games too. He's the worst linebacker in the entire NFL I've watched this year. He is a sieve in coverage. It looks like he thinks he's playing flag football out there. Like the way he chases around ball carriers, like he's trying to pull their flag because he just cannot keep up with them to tackle them, is crazy. I know he was voted a team captain. He can lead from the sidelines, man. Vance Joseph's a leader, and he is not throwing the pads on, man. Sternad and Dre Greenlaw should be the main two linebackers on this team. And if Singleton's third, fine, but he so clearly should be third. He is so much closer to Karene Reed, or is Walton one of the random dudes that Barton, or I can't even keep them all straight.
I think he's on IR. Wallow, isn't he on IR?
Wallow, that's it. Yeah. I don't care if he is on IR, man. With one leg, he might be better. Like seriously, Singleton is closer to those guys than he is to Sternad for me at this point. And it's hard. Like, I don't know if they'll do it because he's voted team captain. I kind of think they won't. VJ, do the hard thing, man. Sit that dude down. It is past time. You should have been like an off-season cut, frankly. It's woof, dude.
I waited, Zach. I waited for Greenlaw to come back. I famously said that Singleton was going to have a great season this year. Just one of my bad takes. But I said, even today, I said, okay, now Greenlaw's in the game. Now Singleton can do the things that I thought he could do if there was a Greenlaw there. And it was an awful game from Singleton. I'm done. I'm off of it. I held on to it a little bit longer than I should. Thank you, David. Singleton, yeah, I'm totally with you 100%. I'd rather have Sternad in there, who again only needs to be just below average, and we'll be fine if Greenlaw can stay healthy. That was another crappy game. I guess maybe I know he's doing all the calls. He's got the dot, right? So he's the one making all the calls.
Sternad's been in this defense for forever. He can make the calls.
That's what I was going to say, David. It's like it can't be that difficult. All he has to do is hear it and then point a couple ways. The D-backs do their own thing. I mean, he's just making a few calls. So I'm with you. Let's get down with him.
Or Hufanga or Greenlaw, or man, I know it'd be difficult to do it from cornerback. Have Surtain run wind sprints to the middle of the field and back out. Man, any option to get this man off the field. I cannot.
Yeah. It's time. It's time.
It's not fully Singleton, but he has a lot to do with it, right? Over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns from these, they're young, but I mean, they're middling tight ends, dude. We made them look like all pros today.
I think Hufanga owned one of those.
Hufanga did, yeah. But Singleton got torched all day long. I agree with the point.
He did. He had a shitty day, but one of those was on Hufanga.
Hufanga's been so great for the Broncos all season, but yeah, that was a busted coverage. Got the game off on the wrong foot for sure. All right, I think it's time we talk about the fun stuff. If anyone's joining us late, I screwed up the title. Also, if you want to listen to us acknowledge that isn't how the Broncos should look, we did that in the first half of this. I think this is going to get very positive very quick, so I don't want people being like, whoa, Sean Payton did a bad job. We know he did. We've acknowledged it. It was stinky poo-poo. All right. 33 points in the fourth quarter. That is one of the most fun quarters of Broncos football I've ever had experienced. Going from the pit of despair to a win like that is how you feel alive. David, what to you, outside of, I know we were talking about, we had the comment, playing Call of Duty saved the game for us. You making the upload, me screwing up the title, and all those jokes. What do you think actually is what saved the Broncos today and got this comeback rolling?
I know what it was. I know exactly what it was. We made enough sacrifices to the football gods for a miracle to happen. DT said, "What's up, football gods? Please, we need some mile-high magic like what I had here with Tim Tebow." And the first drive starts off with some, I don't even know if that pass was going to be caught in the end zone, right? I don't even remember who it was intended to. But you get some totally scam type of touchdown where it falls into Troy Franklin's hands, then you're thinking, okay, maybe we got something to work with, man. And again, I thought the nail in the coffin was they returned with their own tipped pass.
Their own ricochet.
For a touchdown, man. For them not to lose belief right then and there, I think just like many of us, it just shows a lot about the fortitude of this team, man. That's the line I got to go with, man. This team's got a little something special in them, and now they've done it multiple times in a row. I hope we don't have to do it much more often this season, get ourselves in situations like this. But now they know mentally, hey, we can score 33 points in a quarter. Hey, we can come back if we're down 2 scores, even if our offense is terrible. Hey, the defense knows that the offense isn't going to score, like 20 points every single game. They don't have to be like nearly perfect. Hopefully this is one that brings the team together without them having to put too much pressure on themselves, man, because I felt like, man, that defense, they had done everything they could. And then just some crazy things like that happened. But for the offense to step up and lead another touchdown drive right there, I'm done. This team's just got magic in them. That's the only thing that makes sense, because with how we played this game, we should have not have won going into the fourth quarter.
Great. This is
Mike,
actually why.
what say you?
This comment is why. Okay.
The comment, just for audio, says
Wide-eyed Draven 15. Here's what actually got that comeback on track. Peyton knew they were cooked, and he took wraps off Bo, and Bo actually played well. There were miraculous absurdities to help them. That's a great comment.
Bingo.
And David, I love the way that you kind of stole my thunder. I'm supposed to be the spiritual guy on this show, the wise old sage who prays to the football gods, but you took mine. So I'm going to tell you exactly why this happened. That comment, this was, like I said, this was Nix's Elway moment. And here, and he did something Elway never did. In fact, here's a stat for you. Here's something, he did something no one's ever done. He had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns in 1 quarter. It's never been done. Bo Nix did it tonight, and that's why we won the game. And I'm not calling our defense elite until next year. It was all the offense. Call him Cronin, and I go back and forth about this all the time. I say we need to go up-tempo, hurry up, perhaps no huddle. I don't know. Maybe not no huddle, but the up-tempo stuff and columns, like, it's not sustainable. I know that. I've seen enough football to know that it's not really sustainable. Bo Nix isn't there yet to call his own plays and do his own things, but it works in the short term, and I think he needs to go to it sooner, and that's why we won the game, Zach.
I largely agree. A small tweak, I would say, just because I know the no huddle and the tempo thing is going to be an even bigger conversation point this coming week, and it was this past week. I think the Broncos don't want to play with tempo. I think that would be bad. No, I mean, like,
because we have the defense and we can run the ball, and we don't want to do it.
Yes, and I would say they shouldn't. Now, you don't have to play with tempo to run no huddle. And that's what they should be doing. When you run no huddle, you also don't allow the reason no huddle works or impacts defenses in the way it does is because neither team has a chance to huddle. And so now the time for dictates. Yes. Now in theory, you are working with a smaller menu as a result, because you're not huddling, you're not preparing whatever play. If, but the offense dictates it. So they can just, prepare plays ahead of time, give themselves an advantage the defense doesn't have. The defense, to counteract teams not huddling, oftentimes will have a menu of 5 to 10, like banana. I don't like, that's almost definitely not one, but code words, quick calls they can shout out that are simple. Everyone gets on the same place. And those calls aren't going to be simulated pressures or rotating safeties, because that requires a lot of verbiage. It's going to be more vanilla stuff. And so, like, Jaden Daniels had success on this front too as a rookie, But when you're running that, and they did a good job of like not always doing it tempoed. They would do the no huddle element, but to keep their defense fresh, to keep time of possession on their side, and the Broncos having a defensive team should absolutely do that. They wouldn't always run with tempo, but they did do no huddle because it simplified the defensive looks their young, inexperienced quarterback was seeing. That is, and again, like that's the nuance that I feel like is missing with so much of this conversation with Broncos country. Like they need to be running tempo. They probably shouldn't with the style of team they are, which is like a very limited offense, even if they start calling things better, and a great defense. Like they should play to that strength. However, they can also make things easier on their quarterback. And also their quarterback can help out their coach some more. It's all of it. And I think people really want Bo Nix to work out or really want Peyton to work out. I think it's more the Nix one. But so it's no, it's not Bo, it's Peyton. And it's all of them. Like you don't get the sloppy performances we've seen each of these past 2 weeks because the head coach is calling bad plays. It is an ensemble effort, as is the comeback. Wanted to get the up-tempo response. I will say the answer that neither of you guys said, although I don't disagree with either of your answers. I think they're both very right. I think Justin Strnad must have done it because I'm telling you, when it was 26-8, I like the comeback started and then it ended is important to remember. I put out, they were either driving for that ridiculous Franklin deflection touchdown or they had just scored it. And I tweeted out, man, I'm getting big Chargers week 6 vibes from this game. And shout out to @EpicNormie on Twitter. He got in the comments. He was like, no, this time we're completing the comeback. And then the Giants scored down and got their drove down and got their touchdown. And that tweet flashed in my head when it went 26-8 because I'm like, well, I guess they're not getting it this time. And I'm a dumb idiot. But
I'm the dumb idiot for telling you that you could change the title. So
yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I just point being, it's never over till it's over. They somehow pulled it off. I can't believe it. And they pulled it off. Sorry, I refound my train of thought. I'm tired. I'm sick. And what a crazy game. They pulled it off because Justin Strnad makes that interception. He double caught it a little bit. Wasn't the easiest interception. Jackson Dart totally didn't see him. Threw it like right to him with a little bit of heat. He makes the catch, gets a good return on it too, and changed the game on a dime. I think even with Peyton opening the offense, even with Bo Nix playing better football, both of which happened, both of which were integral to the comeback. The comeback truly started rolling downhill when Justin Strnad made that interception of Jackson Dart. And credit to him. What a baller. Sit Singleton's ass on the bench, please.
Yeah, Singleton never would have caught that. Not with his club hand. No way.
I'm not making that argument anymore.
I love the added slander from David. I love it. Just to throw it on your screen.
So no huddle. So maybe my terms are a little wrong, Zach, but you're right. No huddle also would give Bo, instead of 12 seconds to figure it out.
Yes.
He'd be able to stand up there for 22 seconds. And then they don't get the substitutions on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
You get the right look, go to no huddle. You get the wrong look, well, then you do what you want. I agree. And it doesn't have to be all that. It could be a combination. But sometimes
it can't be.
It could help. They
need to dial it up. It can't be all that. All of these things are nuanced, but to your point, Mike, they need to be dialing it up. It's that much is obvious at this point. David, say what you're going to say.
Yeah, dude, that Giants defense freaking gassed. I mean, how many drives were they out there on the field for? 5 scoring drives. Are you kidding me? So that's the thing that, like, I'm going back to advocating for more up-tempo stuff to bring that in a little bit in the first half. When we're playing at home. When we're playing at home, we're putting the pressure on those guys, to have a wind by the end of these drives. Again, what's the point of having these mass subs when, I mean, how many 3-and-outs or like 5-play drives do we have in the first half? I mean, pretty much all of them, man. That's how it felt. So again, even if you're running up tempo, dude, with how things are going right now, you're still probably burning more clock and having time of possession than what we've been having.
Yeah, it's Man, I think they need to go back to the drawing board on a lot of the offensive stuff.
Remember last
we talked
week
about
when
the-
I said that Scattaboo would have 120 yards
Oh my
in this
God.
game? I said stop underestimating my draft crush.
he
He
put
had
some
94
lipstick.
yards. 94
Okay,
yards.
I thought you were about to victory lap, and I was going to say he put some lipstick on that pig
No.
when the Broncos defense started wearing out. I was thrilled with how well the defense played against Scatabo up until like midway through the third quarter or so.
They shut him down.
Completely bottled him up, and then he got a little something
Until they didn't.
rolling, but still.
I was worried about him. And they came through.
Malcolm Roach had a great game. Dre Greenlaw. I mean, while we're starting to, I think we're transitioning into maybe our standout players portion of the show. Dre Greenlaw didn't play a lot of snaps. I'd be curious to see the final snap count. But when he was out there, you felt his presence. One of the few guys that like stood Cam Scatabo up right where the contact was made, and he did it multiple times. Man, please be healthy for the rest of the year, Dre Greenlaw, because that is going to be a skeleton key for this defense, I think. Yeah. What did you guys see from Greenlaw?
I saw him running early well. Sorry, David. I don't know who was supposed to go.
I need to do better.
I saw Singleton running to the far sideline and Greenlaw behind him. And they were both running after the same guy. And Greenlaw almost passed him on the way to the player. And he probably had 5 yards on him. That's the one thing I saw. I saw him make some hard hits. I believe he just waylaid Dart early in the game. Probably could have drawn a penalty in this world in that game. It shouldn't be, but I'm surprised if it had been late in the game, they probably would have called a penalty because he landed with his weight on him. But he nailed Dart just as it was a legal hit. That's about all I saw. I remember I tweeted you guys earlier. I'm not even taking notes. Like I'm just not. There's no good players in this game, but there were some. I on the bad side though, I do want to point out. John Franklin Myers had a pretty solid game, but his hothead is costing this team, and it's going to cost us. He
wasn't penalized. It was on.
He should have been, and he almost was when the game was right there, and he's in the crowd. He's trying to go at it, and I'm like, and he keeps and he kind of shoved that ref, and I was like, oh my god, somebody get to control this guy. He didn't get called, so maybe I'm a get off my lawn guy, but that scared me a little bit. Because that was a critical time.
Well, and I think it's a normal reaction to have when you see this Broncos team consistently, like at the worst times, get that backbreaking penalty where it's like, oh, we got the third down stop. Oh my God, what stupid thing!
It's coming back. Where's the flag? There it is.
Or oh, they finally popped a big run and there's a flag. Like there is an element, and it's anecdotal, but of whenever it seems they have that breakthrough play, it comes back on penalty, or they over celebrate and it takes 15 yards off it. Like there's a lot of that stupid stuff. So I don't think you're at all like the old man yelling at clouds. I noticed that some with John Franklin Myers too today. Overall though, I was so wowed by the interior defensive line. I thought Franklin Myers overall had a good day. Malcolm Roach was a beast, laid some big hits on Dart and was huge in the run game. Like that was a big takeaway for me in the first half was like, oh my God, thank God the Broncos have Greenlaw and Roach for this one. Or
Zach Allen again, Zach.
Big that was the one. That was the one I was about to mention. Zach Allen also had a big game, and it would have been even bigger. We would be going like, wow, the Zach Allen game. If the 2 or 3 holds that were so blatant, and I'm not like the Broncos will lose to the Chiefs.
Like this.
I know the Broncos will lose to the Chiefs, and people will screenshot the holding penalty that should have been called on the Chiefs or whatever. And I'm like, those don't get called all the time.
Every game.
I'm not like, I want to be so clear. I'm not like the Chargers one. Everyone was screenshotting the Chargers hold on that. I did not word a single complaint about that. I don't care. Like those penalties get missed all the time. The holds I saw on Zach Allen today, I don't know how it's like full, like you said, Mike, full grabbing the chest plate. The jersey's coming off over here and it's not getting called. If that doesn't get called, I don't know when it does. And then you see penalties on the Broncos that are like 7 out of 10s. Like by the letter of the law, is that Riley Moss penalty a penalty or defensive pass interference a penalty? Maybe I would lean no, but maybe is the Nick Benito roughing the passer penalty, maybe by like letter of the law, roughing the passer. Sure. But it's like a ticky-tacky penalty that I would say 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10 does not get called in those moments. And meanwhile, on those same exact plays, mind you, like literally on the 3rd and 19, you have one of those Zach Allen holds where the jersey's up above his damn earlobe. Man.
It was a poorly officiated game. Let's just say that. We won, but it was a poorly officiated game.
I hate, man, everyone that tells me to change the title now, I'm going to tell you to read the caption I've got up on the screen for the past 50 damn minutes. I forgot. I'm an idiot. I can't do it until we're done. We're all on the same page. Okay. I
wanted to give my props to somebody.
Yeah, give props.
I don't think he played very much, but I like what we saw to Q Robinson. I like what we saw to him. I think
he had an awesome TFL that got taken away by one of these nonsense penalties.
Exactly.
I forget which penalty it was, but it was sick. He blew that up, and I was like, "Let's go, Q!" And then I immediately got sad.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. That's a great call. Like I said, if I don't take the notes, it takes me a while to remember. But like, that's a great call out. And then J.K. Dobbins again. The Giants, they seemed pretty stout up front. And Zach, I'll leave it up to you. You're the analyst, and David, you too. But you know what I mean? Like, they seemed pretty stout to me. And I don't know if our offensive line was shit or if those guys were great, but it was tough sledding. And I saw him hitting and driving like you want a professional running back to do. Shout out to J.K. Dobbins. We got Dobbins here. He fought for every inch he could get, and I appreciated that. There were some players that were fighting Zach when it looked like that team had given up for a little bit there, and he was not one of them.
Yeah, what a signing. I mean, I want us to all remember this version of J.K. Dobbins, because in the offseason, I saw so much J.K. Dobbins slander, and I understand why. It's because down the stretch last year, he was not the same player for the Chargers that he was the first 2 months of the season. But those first 2 months of the season, he was great for the Chargers. And I really hope that doesn't happen this year again, where he has a first great 2 months and then tapers off. But on the chance it does, it will break my heart if in the offseason I'm hearing, J.K. Dobbins sucked or whatever. He's been awesome for at least the first 7 weeks of the Broncos season, and hopefully it keeps rolling. But these first 7 weeks, you can't take away from J.K. Dobbins. Off that alone, he's been an amazing signing. I won't remember the Twitter user, but there was a dude in my ats when the Broncos signed J.K. Dobbins saying, this is a terrible signing because he's going to play 7 weeks and then he's going to be gone 11. And it doesn't even matter how good he is those 7 weeks. This is a terrible signing. Do you feel that same way? I bet you don't, because, man, it looks outstanding.
When does the season start? When does the season start? What month?
Yeah, it's September. Great point. Great point, Mike.
So September, July 9th, I tweeted J.K. Dobbins, RB1 on this team, RJ RB2. He was not brought here to, I don't know what people thought they were getting. Like, Sean wanted this guy as his lead running back, and he has proved it. That he deserves that spot. He's a hell of a football player. And that was, we all thought, I still think that Greenlaw in the long run could be the biggest signing as far as late in the season importance for us. But right now, J.K. Dobbins, that was the best offseason signing we've had so far.
I will say, just to add on the RJ Harvey of it all, D-Bronx saying RJ Harvey's been a disappointment. Our very own David here adding in the chat that RJ is disappointing, but that's why trading for Kamara would help. I'll tee you up on that in a second, David.
Let's go. Nobody's going to argue for that. We can do that.
But I will
but
say,
I wouldn't say it's disappointing.
Harvey, I think, hasn't quite, produced the way you'd want him to produce. Some of that's JK. I don't know if he's getting a great chance these last 3 weeks. I think in week 4 against the Bengals, you saw some semblance of a breakout. 14 carries, 58 yards. Also had 4 receptions that game. I can't see the yardage.
I think he had 4 today.
He had 4 carries for 0 yards and a catch for a touchdown, and the touchdown was great. But these past 3 weeks, he's gotten a total of 10 carries. And now, granted, only 16 yards. That's really getting dragged down by today. Before that, it was 16 on 6 carries.
Yeah.
And that's not exciting. I really think like his best games of the year are the Titans game, which is where he had the second most touches, and the Bengals game, where he had the most touches of any game he's had all season. And some of that is he's a guy who might get a bunch of 2, 3, 4 yards carries, and then he pops the one for 60, and that's what evens it all out. And I think the Broncos, in the same way, they need to be willing to live with some of the positive and negative variants of Bo Nix a little more. I think they need to be willing to live with some of the positive and negative variants of RJ Harvey a little more. And if they start giving him more touches and it's nothing burger, I retract my claim. But these past 3 weeks, he's been unproductive because they haven't been giving him the ball. And I do think he adds something to this attack that JK does not. And a little balancing of those guys, even if like JK's the ice cream and RJ Harvey's just like the hot fudge drizzled on top, like it can be mostly JK, but I think RJ needs to be part of the mix.
His tell, or I think somebody said, was it in our chat? I forget that RJ having him in there kind of seems to be a little bit of a tell right now with the play calling. And yeah, when whoever mentioned that, I started to think of like Jaleel McLaughlin in the games last year, of just how when he's in the game, it's like, oh, it's going to be just like a quick pass out to the flat, or, it's going to be like a pitch play. We're getting a lot of that same treatment right now with RJ. What I would be interested in is just like, can this guy get some carries out of like a single back formation where Bo's under center? Like, can we start giving him the rock in similar looks to how JK's getting the ball and see how he performs? But right now it seems like we're just using him as kind of this one trick pony. That was our biggest criticism of Jaleel. And you draft a guy at 60th overall, 24 years old, expecting him to be more than just utilizing him in that way.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think before we go any farther, I just want to say a couple things. There's like 2,000 people watching us right now.
Are you serious?
There's between all 3 of us. So there's 4
on Twitter.
Saying, it's a lot of people. So there are 3 shows on this show right now. There is Let's Talk Broncos. There's David Talks Broncos, or David Talks Buffs, or right?
Yeah.
And mic'd up live. So make sure you like all these streams, and then make sure that you go, and these guys are great. Make sure that you get subscribed to all 3 of us. We do a lot of shows together, and get in these chats and become part of this family. We love hearing from you guys. And I just want to make sure everybody knew that, especially on my stream that's watching right now. I want to make sure, because I don't think we even said who we were or anything. We just went right into it because it's such a crazy game. What a crazy game.
I appreciate you, Mike, and this is why you are the critic. You know the things I should be doing as a host that I am not doing. So I appreciate you. But I will say,
number 1, actually.
I don't know about that. I need to work this muscle out some more. But anyways, back to the close the kimono up. Man, please support us. That's what I wanted to transition into. Thank you all for watching the stream. I think we might have a few more thoughts before we get out of here. But I will say, like the stream, it is a free and easy way to support all of our work. It really does make a difference in the YouTube algorithm. Commenting, same thing. Subscribing, same thing. And if you did enjoy the work we put out there this stream, please do that. And I'm going to give a little extra plea to anyone watching right now on Let's Talk Broncos. Little peek back behind the kimono. It's open again. The YouTube algorithm is 1,000% going to punish me for how badly I screwed up this title thing. And me having to change the thumbnail again. I'm going to get banged hard by the YouTube algorithm. So please, like Chiba's saying here, hit that like button. Let's Talk Broncos. So I don't
go replay it afterwards.
This stream. very much. Thank you all for the support. Are there yeah, Brock's noticing it.
We got to have a star. We got to have our
thoughts?
stars of the game, though, right?
Yeah, I know. Stars of the game. We'll go through and do that, and then we'll part. David, who's your, or what did you want to say?
Yeah.
And then we'll do stars of the game.
Oh, well, I gotta say, how could I forget the real omen of how we got this victory? How could I forget? Dude, we are undefeated now that we have this trifecta with Mic'd Up joining us after the game. We're undefeated. We're
all
undefeated.
ugly wins, though. It's like we, as long as
Wait
we're
a minute.
together,
So when we
Broncos
lose,
will
I'm
win.
out. When we lose, then I'm out.
Dude, the heat's on. The heat's on right now.
No, once the record changes, because what we were 2-2, we were 500. So if they go on a 3-4 game losing streak here, Mike, I'm kidding. They gotta.
If anything, you're gonna have to catalog every little thing. What were you wearing? What was David? What did this? You know, don't jinx me, man. I brought the wins, baby. I don't know what else to tell you. I brought the wins.
All right, I'm gonna give you my player of the game.
Please do, David.
Right now, his name hails out of like NCAA football, create a player, and that is Jude McAtamany, kicker for the New York Giants out of Rutgers. Man, this guy missed two extra points.
It did save the Broncos.
Yes, dude, this guy's the only reason we won this game. Let's be real. This guy could not execute the easiest play out of a place kicker in the NFL, missing 2 extra points, some mile high magic. Thank you for just giving that much margin for us to come and get this victory by. So thank you, Jude McAtamany. Yeah. Thank you. And good luck in the UFL this spring or something like that, because there's no way he's employed tomorrow. Absolutely no way.
No.
Wow.
No. Good luck. Get ready to speak Birmingham Stallion, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, that great call, because that really does change the game for them. They did not have enough time to score a touchdown on that final drive, and the Giant, it would have made it so a field goal would have been all the Giants needed on their last drive. Man, yeah, that kicker came in really clutch. Another important part of that equation, though, I'll note, because I didn't consider this, from Vichin8655, I hope I'm saying that right, pointing out that the Broncos had 2 2-point conversions in this one, so 2 8-point scores. DT88 game, that's a pretty sweet mirroring there, especially because I think that's rare. Like because of this comment, I'm going to try and go back and look and find when the last game was that they had 2 2-point conversions, but I'd have to think it's like years ago. So kind of cool that lined up, with the DT game. Mike, who was your big star from the game?
Well, first of all, I want to apologize to all my listeners for telling you to subscribe to David's channel with that naming a Giant as one of the stars of this incredible game. So I apologize to you. Don't unsubscribe though. He's awesome. He's one of the busiest men in show business, and I love him. Just kidding. But I'm going to go a different kicker. I actually have 2 tonight. I don't even care what the rules are, Zach. I have 2. I got 2 stars. Big Nuts Lutz. This was a 38-yard field goal. Not his sweet spot, right? I was not confident that was anybody sitting here going, we just won the game, here comes Lutz? No, because you got to earn that, right? Like back when Jason Elam was a kicker before you guys were born, like I knew the game was over. If we was in 50 yards, the game was over. I did not trust it. Big Nuts Lutz, you get my star for the night. And then Cortland Sutton, you get the co-star because 2 reasons. One, when he walked into the Empower Field tonight, he was wearing a DT jersey, and 87 yards, clutch catches.
87 yards for Sutton?
Always does. What's that?
87 yards for Sutton? Oh my God, I'm mad at the refs. Just spotted a yard further on one of those, man, and that would have been so damn cool.
It was
actually, he's the one with the DT bond and everything. That would have been so poetic if he gets the game-winning catch to finish with 88 yards.
Come on.
Well, the game-winning drive was it 88 yards? Did we
I don't
go
know.
88
We'll
yards?
find
Was-
an 88. Don't worry, guys. We will go back. We will find an 88 and we'll put it out.
That
We'll make it
is,
happen. We'll
uh,
reverse
I'm gonna
engineer
look,
it.
I'm gonna look at this right now and all the
The win
drops.
was enough.
that
The
was,
win was enough.
I would
That was
say-
DT.
Yes, and Rock's joined late. He's saying Justin Strnad is his star. I credited him for creating the comeback. Don't want to sleep on Strnad. He should have laid Singleton down on the bench with how good he played today. I'm going to keep banging that drum until it happens. Mim said 98 yards. Another, hey, take 1 point away from there. Put it in the singles digit for a Sutton. We're cooking. 88. Anyways,
Yeah,
I wanted
old
to shout out the
stats,
wide
sorry.
receivers. Sorry, I wanted to shout out the wide receivers too. You absolutely, Cortland Sutton. He made some clutch plays, some clutch catches. There was a little DT magic out there today. And yes, you've lived with some much like DT's amazing Broncos career. There were some very frustrating drops, and people got mad, and maybe some of them shouldn't have even been considered drops and were more to do with quarterbacking. And we called them drops and got mad at the receiver anyways, much like DT. And yet there was also a little sprinkle of or a large sprinkle of magic, I should say, as you get Troy Frank. I know the Giants had a deflection touchdown, but you get that Troy Franklin deflection touchdown to break the drought, to get things started. That was an amazing catch. Great play by Troy Franklin. Marvin Mims, in a sea of Giants defenders, gets that drive started off with his big catch. And then Cortland Sutton, huge catch, hard catch downfield, and a heads-up play by everyone on that Broncos offense. It is going to get overlooked, and it should not. That pulling off the spike right there was a very difficult thing to do. They had 12 seconds to get everyone sprinted their ass down the field, line up. You also, because they don't have any timeouts, you can't have a legal shift and a legal formation, because then the clock gets ran out. They do the 10-second runoff, game over. You have to not only execute it in a timely fashion, which they only have 12 seconds to be timely, but you have to execute it perfectly. And plenty of times this year, plenty of times this game, the execution was sloppy and awful, and they should be held accountable for all those times it was sloppy and awful. But my God, in the biggest moment, it was great. And so little credit to the receivers for coming through in the biggest moments. Bo Nix coming through in the biggest moments. And I guess Will Lutz too. Man, Justin Strnad, everyone. What a game.
Do we have the stats yet on Bo Nix's fourth quarter? Because we just need to shout out fourth quarter Bo Nix again.
He was insane. Let me calculate it. Talk about how great he was in the fourth quarter, and I'll try and calculate it.
Mike.
I mean, I said it before. Like, he did something no one's ever done. 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns in 1 quarter. NFL history, never been done. 2 and 2.
Ooh, earlier you said 2 and 1. 2 and 2's crazy.
No, if I misspoke, if I said that, 2 and 2. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns in 1 quarter. Amazing. NFL history, never been done.
Dart completed less than 50% of his passes. I was looking up the Bo Nix stats. I just noted that and wanted to dunk on the guy after all the chain talk this week. Continue. How great was Bo Nix, Mike?
You know, I can't wait to see that, because he had to be pretty good with that kind of stuff. But I will say the reason there's no 88 in any of these stats is because the number 88's retired. So we're not going to have any 88s.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They need to officially retire that.
I'm just saying it's retired for this week. It's DT week.
Yeah.
So,
but I also mean officially retire it. I get the argument, you can't retire numbers because then you'll run out of numbers.
Oh,
by
I
the way, there's no team in professional sports where that's actually a concern. Like the Celtics have a bajillion numbers retired and they're doing fine.
Look at the Cowboys. They let them wear it.
The Cowboys, it's not a problem. The Yankees have 1 million retired numbers. You can feel the team just fine. It's a straw man argument. But even if you're worried about that, no one wants anybody else wearing 88. Why have all the quote unquote downsides of a retired number where there's this number you're not allowed to use without any of the glory of a retired number? If no one's going to wear 88 again or 24 again, and I'm of the thought that they shouldn't, those numbers shouldn't be worn again. let's give Champ Bailey and Demaryius Thomas their moment in the sun and put the big billboards up next to the John Elway one, next to the Peyton Manning one, and next to the Floyd Little one, rather than having like 7 numbers that are unofficially retired, like the Terrell Davis and Champ Bailey and DT. If you're gonna do it, give the players their love.
I agree. And the other thing on that too, Zach, David, like what was the guy before Peyton?
35 fantasy points in the fourth quarter.
What's the Peyton Manning, the quarterback that he shared the number with?
Frank
Tripucka. Tripucka. See, the thing about that is eventually Tripucka doesn't hold any sway over Broncos country because time goes on. So you could retire 88. And then when you guys are little fat old men like me, you won't, you'll be like, oh, I do remember that. And maybe DT's a special case because of the whole history. But like, if they use number 18 again in 20 years, no one alive right now is going to care about what Peyton Manning did there.
Yeah.
It's a fond memory. So you can retire them for a football generation, let's just say, whatever that is. And so you're not going to run out of numbers. You can bring them back when Champ Bailey's 40 years ago. My kids probably don't even, well, of course my kids do. They grew up in a Broncos house, but somebody's kids aren't going to know who Champ Bailey was. So I think it's fine. I think, yeah. And you're right. These numbers are unofficially retired. Well, nobody wears that number. Well, then put them on the wall.
Bingo.
Yeah, I love that take, Zach. Love it.
I was not able to calculate. Am I muting myself? No, I'm not. No. Okay. I was worried because I was on a different tab. I was not.
And I've been watching you.
I was not able to calculate the fourth quarter stats in time, so I'll use it as a teaser for my article on letstalkbroncos.com. I am writing game recaps for all these games. I go really in depth. I am proud of all the cool stats and tidbits I find in that. I will have a lot of awesome Bo Nix stats for you in that article. That should come out on Tuesday. Stay tuned. Check that out. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. Do you guys have any? Yes, David. But before we leave, the people, David's going to tell you how to make some money. David, how can the people make some money?
Yes. Shout out again. Shout out to my friends. Oh, this did not go well. At Profit X, your #1 sports prediction market in America, guys. You get the best lines on all the best plays. And you can even make your own because it's peer-to-peer. It's not the sports book versus the house. So I was able to make some nice profit cash based off of the Broncos pulling off this epic comeback victory. Use my promo code Dave on ProfitX and get yourself up to $200 worth of profit cash in your first 30 days playing. Terms and conditions apply. I love you, ProfitX. This was not the graphic I wanted, but that was kind of, that's just kind of how this show has gone. I will look like an idiot if it means the Broncos can win, baby. So thank you, ProfitX. Thank you, ProfitX. And thank you, Zach and Mike, for helping me pay the bills.
Of course. Thank you.
Absolutely.
David. Thank you, Mike, for joining me. Everybody watching on my stream, please like the stream because I'm an idiot and I totally screwed up the channel. But beyond that, subscribe to David Talks Buffs, to David Talks Broncos. He's the best. And subscribe to Mic'd Up with Michael Carmelini. He's showing you how to spell it right now on screen. If you're listening, it's the name Mike followed by a D and the word up. If you can't figure that one out, that's on you.
I still want you in the chat.
Mike wants you. Anyways, thank you all again for your support. Please like the stream. And let's hope the next win we're talking about on this stream isn't so ugly. Let's go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.